Political organiser, agitator and broadcaster Charlie Kirk has been murdered today. Megyn Kelly is our friend in the United States and Charlie was her friend. She was literally on the air on her program on Sirius XM and live on YouTube when the news came to pass that his injuries became fatal, and she joins us now from the United States. I'm so sorry, Megyn, not just because of the event that has taken place, but because this has happened to a friend of yours as well.
Thank you, Paul. It's incomprehensible. The loss is so enormous for his family, of course, but for our country. And yeah, for me personally too. I can't quite get my arms around the fact that he's gone, that this larger than life figure who was a spectacular orator, who had his entire life and political future ahead of him, has been taken from us so violently in front of all of our eyes in the most disgusting and vile and jarring way possible, and that we're now living in a world without him. It hasn't sunk in yet.
Yeah, I've got to say, this must be how certain people felt in the 1960s about the towering political figures who were murdered then. And make no mistake, for Republicans, for conservatives, for young people around the world who were interested in what he had to say, Charlie Kirk is as big as any of those figures that were taken in the 1960s.
Yes. If the left does not comprehend how important he was to us on the right, they're going to find out. I mean, there's a reason that President Donald Trump was the first to comment that he lowered the flags to half staff, ordered them lowered in the country, that Barack Obama, Joe Biden have both issued statements, and good statements, no mealy-mouthed, anything in there, just good, solid statements. There's a reason for this 31-year-old kid living out of Arizona who in 2016 was Don Jr.'s bag boy, literally was carrying Don Jr.'s bags, and 10 years later, not even, had changed the world. It is not an overstatement to say that Charlie Kirk delivered the youth vote to Donald Trump almost single-handedly, something that no Republican had ever gotten. No one even bothered. Young people they don't vote Republican. They're idealists who vote Democrat until they grow up and realize what folly that is. And then they come over. But Charlie said, no, they can be reached. We're seeding an entire group of people that we don't need to seed, and put his money where his mouth was, devoted his entire organization to going where? To places Charlie never attended. He did not go to college. He never went to college. Life was his college. And yet he spent half of it going from college to college to college to try to convince the young people there to see the world the way he did, to try to understand that there was an education to be had on certain issues that they wouldn't get from CNN, that they couldn't get from Morning Joe, and to set the truth, the facts straight, and to give the truth on a man named Donald Trump who had been so bastardized by every pocket of the media that no young person, given the way they consume news, could ever really know or understand him or why he might be worth voting for. He delivered that election to Donald Trump, at least a large faction of it. Even Trump knows that. Trump doesn't comment on random acts of violence that often, Paul. The Charlie was important to him and to the movement, and we've just lost a giant today. I'm so sad for us. I'm so sad that I'm not going to be able to watch what he did next. I was just saying to Doug, my husband, I'm coming up on a birthday, and I'm older than Charlie by a lot. And I was like, gosh, when Charlie's my age, I'm gonna be like 80 or close to 80. And I said, and Charlie will be president. I said, or he will have already served 2 terms as president. Like, he was on that trajectory. And just, on a personal note, he had just been on the show within the past month. I was going to join him on one of these college tours literally in 2 weeks in Virginia. And he was coming. I'm going on tour myself with my show, and he was coming to be with me this month in September. And it's just, we pulled our promos immediately because Charlie's in them. And Charlie's dead. Charlie's gone. I'm in the just complete denial phase of grief. It just doesn't seem possible that someone that big and that important could be gone.